completely. But with that being said, y'all, check this out.
And you said something I've never really heard a lot of actors say about the process of acting. And you said that sometimes when you walk off, they walk off with your clothes.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Well, as an actor, you're more like a medium.
Mm-hmm.
When you really get there, you go into this zone and you really divorce yourself of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you just become a garment that something else puts on. Now,
Right.
A lot of people sit up there and do impersonations of other folks, instead of allowing that spirit, but I sit up and I'll pray for a little bit and go in a dark place, go in the bathroom, turn off the lights, look in the mirror. We'll have the light on at first, and then after 1 minute, turn the light off and search until you see your own glow, your own aura, and then you watch it change.
Wow.
And it's a scary thing because you'll feel like some hands are on you, and you lose a little bit of control of what you're doing. But if you stay with it, you'll be inhabited by something, and then you walk out, and the character's with you, and you got to know how to say goodbye to it.
Right.
If you really want to get there.
Right.
A lot of people are afraid, to empty themselves and be filled up with something else. But, as an actor, you're an emotional prostitute.
Wow.
You put on whatever you need for the John. You're turning a trick. You're turning an emotional trick.
Wow.
And it's nothing more glorious than that.
Okay.
Now, first off, the wig is wild. Just looking at this picture, it looked like this dude finna tell you some bullshit or try to sell you some bullshit. But what he goes into is not something we haven't heard before. Now, the way that he explains it is very clear cut. He said you become a medium, a garment for something else to wear, speaking as in a spirit. Now, what he goes on to say next is crazy. He said a lot of people don't want to allow that spirit to take over. He said a lot of people would rather impersonate, the character that they're trying to play. He said if you really want to get there, you have to allow the spirit to enter your body. He said he will go in the bathroom with the light on for 1 minute. He said he will start to pray and go into a dark place. Then he will cut the light off and sit there and search for his aura to glow and start to change. Like, that's some shit where we may have to rewind this and really listen to what he's telling you. He said he will pray and go in a dark place. So he's not praying to God. You don't go in a dark place when you pray to God. You don't have to do all that. That's a place of, truth, happiness. You're praying to God. We don't go in dark places to pray to God. So let's get that out of there. That's out of the equation. Then he says he keeps the light on for 1 minute. So he's not telling you that he's actually praying, to Satan. He's probably, has a setup. He's doing a ritual, basically. Because that's why he said he keeps the light on for 1 minute. I guess you want to call it mirror gazing, whatever you want to call it. He then cuts that light off and searches for his aura to glow and then change and feel something take a hold of you. He said, if you stay with it, you're going to feel some hands feel like they're touching you, and you're going to lose control of yourself. He is fully explaining a ritual in order to allow this demonic spirit to inhabit your vessel and take over for you, for whoever you are trying to portray. Denzel Washington did the same thing, I think, with the Malcolm X role. A bunch of them, Oprah, a bunch of them have done it. They fully embody. Remember, Taraji P. Henson was talking about it. We could pull this back up since they have history together. We could pull her clip right back up just for some context. This blows my mind. It said if you stick with it, you will be inhabited by something. Just look at his face right here. You'll be inhabited by something. By whatever demonic spirit, wants to take a hold of your body and help you with this process. Don't be scared of it, though. Then he goes on to say, if you really want to get there once again. So obviously this is something that's for people or, celebrities, A-list celebs, actors that really take this serious, are really in the occult. That if you are really willing to empty yourself and allow something else to fill you up, pause, no Diddy, but seriously, goes on to say that you are an emotional prostitute as an actor. Meaning you have to be willing to pretty much allow anything or take in anything, any kind of spirit, treatment, emotions. You have to be able to embody it in a sense. That this is what it takes if you really want to, make your audience feel what they are actually watching. And it's crazy, to hear someone actually talk about this, because it goes deeper than just having talent, being a talented actor. It goes much deeper. And I don't think they volunteer, to do this kind of stuff. I believe once you reach a certain level, a certain amount of money, you have to join that occult. This is what we do when you get to this kind of level. We seek help from the spirit world. We seek help from demonic spirits in order for us to, cast spells on the listener, on the people that are watching. Because you have to think about it. It's deeper than just them allowing themselves to be, as he said, filled up with spirits. It's deeper than that. Because then you have to think about what you're actually watching. You're no longer watching Terrence Howard. He has a different face now. He just told you. When he comes out of that bathroom, he has no control anymore. He's not himself. We can't imagine what that feels like. The man said he searches for his aura and he watches it glow and then he watches it change. He prayed in order to go into a dark place. So they know who they are praying to. They do it over and over and over, and they get the same results because they're praying to the demonic realm. Just look at him with this wig on. What else do you expect from someone like this? And that's why I said it's much bigger than just them doing that and being a part of this, like, occultic type of stuff. You have to think about, you're watching this stuff. Now, obviously, he didn't do this to play Hustle and Flow. He didn't go into the spirit world and be possessed by a demon in order to be a pimp in Hustle and Flow. It doesn't work. I don't think they have to do it to do that. But, it just, in the spirit, it really makes you think about what you're actually watching. You're watching spirits act out these roles. And in turn, what is this doing to me mentally when I believe that I'm watching something genuine and that it's so good, but this is actually being led by a demon? You gotta really think about this on a deeper level. And in turn, it would definitely make you not be as interested in watching some of these films that are just, they're promoted heavy. The ones that really come out with the A-list actors and stuff like that, a lot of money is behind them. These are the films where you're basically watching spirits. And for me, I just find that to be crazy, y'all. I find that to be out of this world. Like, just how he described it, I don't think anyone has made it so clear as he did. Not even Taraji P. Henson.
And especially when you're dealing with something, the subject matter can be so dark. Yeah. You know, so there were moments on set when I was watching her, and when I knew she didn't need to stay into it, I'd go over and make her laugh, you know, to lighten the mood a little bit. And whenever they yelled it's a rap, I was all in her face. Yeah. So she could go home and leave Celie at home, because it's a lot when you're dealing with, you know, playing these characters, because it's very spiritual what we do as actors. You're on the set, you have your chakras all open, you're allowing this character to use your body as a vessel. And so you have to learn how to flip the switch on and flip it off. Otherwise, it could drive you mad. I mean, because it's spiritual what we do. You understand? Yeah. We allow these characters and these stories to use our bodies as a vessel. That is a real, like, if you think about it, that's you allowing this other energy.
Project. I let the character speak to me. What we do as actors is very spiritual. You're on set, and that's why I don't pick a lot of roles, because it's spiritual, and I'm all alive, and I'm open, and my chakras are open, and I'm letting this character use my body as a vessel to tell its truth. And so when I'm open like that, a lot of energies can't be around me. I'm sorry, because energy is strong, y'all.
Now I want y'all to notice something they both said. They both said you have to be able to walk away from the spirit once you're done. So, you know, because Taraji P. Henson was telling Fantasia she'll get all in her face to make sure she, you know, comes back to normal, comes back to life, I guess, in a sense. She'll bother her so she can feel that, you know, she needs to come out of it. And that's basically the same thing Terrence Howard said. You have to be able to walk away from it when you're done. But it doesn't seem like something that's so easy. Because obviously you're playing a dangerous game if it's something that, you know, you have to learn how to do. You have to learn how to let the spirit go. Anytime I talk about this, it just makes you think about Heath Ledger. Because, you know, it's always been the rumor or, you know, speculated that he died from not being able to get away from those demonic spirits that he was allowing to host his body. And that was what ultimately caused his death. So every time I hear about this, it just makes you think about that, because he actually died from it. You know, if that's what you want to believe, it's what I believe. You know, it was definitely a death that probably could have been avoided had he not been doing rituals in order for that Joker spirit to, you know, inhabit his vessel. And he was warned. Remember Jack Nicholson said that he warned him, and they basically laughed about it. So that goes to show you that this stuff is not a game, and they are all aware of what people are doing in order to really act out these roles. So with that being said, y'all,